You know, when I found out that I was going to do this gig, I immediately put together a message and I pinged it out on our family WhatsApp group to my husband and my children, because that is the kind of rock and roll comic I am. And my son, my teenage son, wrote back to me at once, and his message said, "Thug life chose you, brah." And I was like, oh shit, my child has joined a gang. I mean, what kind of language is this? Thug and bra. It had 2 R's, but he's a terrible speller. And I was like, oh no. And the other thing is, I thought, this message is not for me. This idiot has sent me a message by mistake, which is for a gang member. What if the next message is something much worse? And that really bothered me because, well, this was my moment. I am going to Apollo. Like, if I'm going to find out you're a criminal, can we do it next month? So I wrote back to him in all caps, because as a good Indian mother, I mainly shout at my children. I wrote back, "This is your mom." And he wrote back, "I know, gigging like a boss." Thank you. A boss. Yeah, B-A-W-S-E, boss. And also, please do remember as you listen to the rest of my set this evening that I didn't choose it, but the thug life chose me. That's right. So I have kids. Of course you love your kids and it's difficult to raise them. Small kids are very easy, I find. The biggest downside of having a very small child is they are very boring. Yeah, they want to show you they love you by talking to you all the time, but everything they know, you already know. I mean, literally zero value add in any of those conversations. But you do it anyway because they're your kids, you know? And you know what people say, small kids, small problems, big kids, bigger problems. And the reason is that as your kids get older, you have to discipline them properly. And I find this very stressful because I'm born and raised in India. So what I consider robust, healthy, high-quality parental discipline is frowned upon in this part of the world. That's not true. It's illegal. I know because I have checked. And I want to have really well-behaved kids, but that is no use to me if I am in jail. So I had to learn what you guys do here. And the big thing here is teach your kids about action and consequence using a multitude of techniques. So you have something called star chart. You know what star chart is? Yeah, no, let me tell you, sir. Star chart is you find something vaguely not negative that your child possibly might be able to do and then work it into the conversation and give them a star. Thank you for not kicking me in the face today. Here's a star. And then the other one, action and consequence, naughty step. You've been terribly behaved. Kindly go relax on the staircase.
London. I love London. I feel like London is created by the people, right? Who are just crazy and sexy and ambitious. I got into an Uber the other day, not bragging, and I got into an Uber and the driver, he said, would you like to have the radio on? And I was like, oh, I don't mind, it's up to you. And then he said, well, actually, I make my own music. Do you mind if I put some of that on? No, I don't. And then he put on Drake's new album. I wonder how often it works. I wonder how often there's a middle-aged white woman thinking, oh, well, he looks like Aladdin and he sounds like confidence personified. Pull over and jump in the back, Nikolai. I'm having a good life. I have recently started doing yoga, which is just change. Yes, woo for the yoga over there. Are you a team? I'm new to it. I love it. Yoga has changed my life. It's brilliant. Yoga is my new drug. My old drug was drugs. Which I'm not going to say anything positive about because it would be incredibly irresponsible. I'm not going to say anything positive about drug taking. What I will say is I didn't take MDMA until I was 32, and it was such a relief to know I could be happy. Just assume the equipment's broken. But yoga is nearly as good, and there's no downsides. It's given me a whole new language. My favourite new word is namaste. Yeah, it's a very old word, it's very sacred, and it means the yoga has finished now. And then you're allowed to leave. I think that the key to being happy as you get older is self-acceptance. Like, I have to accept things about myself now. Like, I'm 36, I thought I would have children by now, and I don't. In an ideal world, what I wanted to self-fertilise. I wanted to have children that were exactly my genetics so that I could show them to my parents and go, see, it was my childhood, they're fine. Science can't do that yet. And then I had a crazy day last month where I just thought, I'm just going to buy some sperm. I'm just going to buy some sperm off the internet. I've got a good job. I'm just going to buy some sperm. Guys, sperm is so much more expensive than I thought it was going to be. It is tens of thousands of pounds. We are all wasting a valuable resource. 17-year-old me would have been a millionaire if I'd learned how to catch it and chuck it in the freezer. So expensive. It's a shock. I do think self-acceptance is the key. Like, there's things about myself I don't like, but I just have to accept now that they're not going to change. This is who I am. Like, so for instance, I don't like art. I think art is rubbish. I think lots of people think art is rubbish, but we're too worried of looking stupid, so we go along with it. I think that the worst art form is theatre. Right, okay, I can sense how unpopular this opinion is. Hear me out. I think theatre is diabolical. Look, I do, look, and also, I'm aware, if you are a performer of some kind, if you're an actor, look, please don't be offended. I don't mean being in the play. Obviously, if you're the person in the play that gets to put a wig on and walk up and down and move your arms and project your voice, saying things like, I think you'll find you're contradicting yourself, Alan. Fun. Having to watch it. Dear Christ. I can't concentrate. I can't lose myself in the story. I know that it's not real because I'm surrounded by people eating crisps. And they don't let you look at your phone. So all you're thinking is, well, how long has it been?
I'm a romantic, that's my problem. I love romance. Oh, I want to be in a relationship. I want to try edible pants. You can't edible solo, they don't let you. I'm absolutely fascinated by them. Here's why. It must be someone's job to keep edible pants from being too delicious. Because they've got to be okay in context, but there's a team of scientists that's working day in, day out to make sure that none of us start craving them. Struggle being single. I'm a pick-me girl. Do you guys know what that is? A pick-me girl is a type of woman who's like me. I'm not like the other girls. Why? Because I like live music. Shackle me. I do like live music. Like, sometimes I wonder if anyone's gone to see the band Placebo thinking it was The Cure. So I do think about that stuff. Love live music. I went to see ABBA Voyage. Have you guys seen it? If you haven't seen it, it's incredible. It's ABBA, they've got holograms now. But just before going into ABBA Voyage, I found out a little bit of industry gossip, and I'm going to share it with you because I was pissed off. ABBA, the band, they're not even dead. And they've got holograms, is it? You can't have holograms if you're alive. Hey, ABBA, go to work. Voyage, it's amazing. From start to finish, it's them at their best. They were 28 years old when they recorded it. Start to finish, them at their best. A bit like this. So, ABBA Voyage. At the end of ABBA Voyage, sometimes the real ABBA, they come out. But the problem is that at this point in your life, you've only known them as hot 28-year-olds. So when 76-year-old ABBA comes out, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look like them. It looks like their parents have come to pick them up. I am a pick-me girl. I lie about my interests constantly, I do. My new thing now is I pretend to like football. Now, I want to like football, I really do. I really respect it as a sport. My problem is too much of it has happened. And no one will let me catch up. Like, everyone needs to stop playing for like 5 years, and then I'll start casual, season 1, episode 1. Now, the real reason I'm trying to get into football is because, basically, I met this guy. Thank you. And, oh my God. So he told me that he could have Do you guys know him? That's weird. He does have a lot of friends. He said he could have gone professional. But then, and this is so sad, just before the trials, he didn't have the skills. He didn't have the skills, the work ethic, or the natural talent. So close.
I've realised that the musician I want to be is the drummer from Coldplay. I want to be the drummer from Coldplay so badly because that dude is rich as shit and no one knows who the fuck he is. Who the drummer from Coldplay is. He could be here and no one would know. It could be you, it could be you, it could be you. I'm not sure it's an Indian woman, but it could be. We don't know. I'm obsessed with the idea that this guy has the best life in the world. And I was telling my friend about this, and she tried to tell me something that she was trying to portray as a bad thing. Apparently, he loves Game of Thrones, so he said to HBO, can I be in Game of Thrones? And they were like, yeah, man, you're the drummer from Coldplay. You can do literally anything you want. We'll restart The Sopranos if that's something that will make you happy, right? Now, he is in Game of Thrones. Confession time, I don't watch Game of Thrones, but even I know the Red Wedding is an important episode of Game of Thrones, right? He is in the Red Wedding. Guess what he is doing in the Red Wedding? He is the drummer in the wedding band. That is the extent to which this guy's anonymity is a borderline superpower. He is in the most famous episode of one of the most popular television shows in the world, doing the thing he is famous for, and no one noticed. Kaiser Soze shit. And my friend was telling me that she read a supposedly embarrassing story that one of the actors told. One of the actors said that when they were shooting the Red Wedding, he was making small talk with the extras, and he got round to the drummer from Coldplay and said, "Are you a full-time extra?" And the guy was like, "No, I'm a musician." So he said, to the drummer from Coldplay, "Have you played on anything I might have heard of?" To which the drummer from Coldplay was presumably like, have you heard of All Music? Because I'm basically the drummer on All Music. And my friend tried to tell me this like this was a sad thing. She was like, oh, this guy's in Coldplay, but no one knows that he's in Coldplay. Isn't that sad? No. Because the problem with being in Coldplay is that people hate Coldplay. People hate Coldplay so much. And the people who hate Coldplay don't say things like, oh, it's not to my taste. They say things like this, I hate Coldplay! But what you mean when you say that is, I hate Chris Martin. No one is angry with the drummer from Coldplay. No one has ever been like, oh, the drummer from Coldplay! He ruined my life! And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Nish, why are you so obsessed with the drummer from Coldplay? There's 2 other people in that band. We don't know anything about them either. And you know what? You're right. There's a guitar player and a bassist in Coldplay. I wouldn't know them even if they were here. I assume it's you two, but only because he sat next to her and I spoke to her already. That's all I've got to go on at this point. They have the exact same life as the drummer, because I did a bit of research into this. Turns out Coldplay are one of those bands where they split the royalties equally. So they have the exact same life as the drummer, apart from one detail. They have the exact same life as the drummer. They have the same level of wealth, access, and anonymity. But crucially, the drummer is sat down. And that is the dream.
I wouldn't go down on a man with a vagina. Or, absolutely not. All on a man. No. Because a man's vagina would be disgusting. Like, I think it's a good thing that most women are born with them, because you look after stuff. Like men, no, thank you. No. People get so angry though, man. Like, I always used to say the LGBT community, and then someone threw a bottle at me for not saying LGBTQIA+. And it's like, mate, I'm on your team. I just didn't know. Like, I didn't miss you out deliberately. Give people some credit. You've named your community after a bloody Welsh village. I'm not going to get everything right first time. Like, also, does anyone know what the A stands for in LGBTQIA? The A? Anyone? Asexual, yeah. Now that baffles me somewhat. Like, I don't understand why those people would want to be part of the same group, because that means at gay pride you've got people who are like, I'm not ashamed, I'm proud, I'm a man and I love men, you know. I'm a woman, I have sex with women. And then you've got these people at the back who are like, I want no part of this filth. Like, holding up a blank placard, like, nothing! We want nothing! And you're like, over there, that's a different march, isn't it? Sure. The problem with some sexist stereotypes, though, is that they're there for a reason, aren't they? Some questions can only be answered with a stereotype. For example, there's a stereotype that women can multitask and that men are just like, ha, the whole time. I think it's offensive to men more than anything. But some questions can only be answered with a stereotype. For example, why is it that you never hear about a woman who died wanking? It's exclusively a male method of death, isn't it? The rope around the neck and only the men. Now, this makes no sense because women masturbate. We know this. Women have masturbated since the 1980s, of course. I believe it was the sinking of the Belgrano that finally got them going. Now, statistically, there must exist women that like to strangle themselves to increase the size of their orgasm, but you never hear about them because they don't die doing it. Women seem to be able to strangle themselves and masturbate at the same time. You know why? Because they can multitask, you see. And men's like, ha! You're gonna die! Fuck it! Ha! And they die. So, some questions can only be answered with a stereotype. That's my point. But these stereotypes were obviously used in the past to kind of make life harder for women. But now, some people think maybe life is harder for men because of the whole MeToo movement. I don't know about that. But what I do know is that no man could deal with the MeToo hashtag. Like, no, not even the really woke, liberal good guys. Like, I've got a friend who's a real good guy, you know, like one of them. And he, he's always blogging about why we can't eat prawns or some nonsense. And he's like, oh, this harassment stuff's terrible, isn't it? Oh, this harassment stuff, oh, makes you want to castrate yourself. What? That's what he said. Every man should just castrate himself. It's like, come on, mate, that's such a male response, isn't it? Because women still want to have sex, they just don't want to be harassed, right? So if women are like, hey, could you stop harassing us? And men go, oh, right, I see, well, I guess I don't need this anymore. Chop. Surely women are like, no, I still want to have sex just more on my terms. But then we're like, no, those are your options. Either we can harass you or it's nothing. The species ends. Pick a team, Karen, huh?
I was such a fat kid. My mother used to buy bathing suits with blowholes in them. It was just... But my parents... I don't want to go into my childhood here because it's wrong. My parents hated me, okay? We're all going to hear the story, all right? My parents hated me too. My parents... All I ever heard growing up is, why can't you be like your cousin Sheila? Why can't you be like your cousin Sheila? Sheila had died at birth. They just... hated me. Whenever we would go, like, in front of a street, each parent would take my hand, hold our hand, we're crossing the street, and then they'd swing me into the traffic. They used to say, take candy from strangers. Ask the funny man in the raincoat, does he own a van? No, I had a very bad childhood, and that's because, and I'm sure none of you give a damn, but I was the only Jewish kid, this is the absolute truth, growing up in an all-Catholic neighborhood. You know what that's? The Irish people. Only Jewish kid in a Catholic neighborhood. You know what that's like? You were all doing Hail Marys, I was doing Hail Murrays. I mean, it was just... No Christmas tree? No Christmas tree. Do you know what that's like when you're the only kid without a Christmas? Because everybody has Christmas trees. And nowadays, it's like, well, we do it for all faiths. That's such bullshit. Yeah, we walk into an office building, and there's a Christmas tree, and there's a menorah. Bullshit. The Christmas tree goes up, 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 up. There's like a little shitty menorah with 2 orange lights that some angry Puerto Ricans lit backwards. I mean, yes. Juan, you lit those lights backwards. Fuck you, you killed our Lord. I mean, it is just... So, I'm at the age where I figured, screw it, I'm gonna have a Christmas tree. I got the biggest Christmas tree I got a 2-story high Christmas tree. I put everything you could think of on that. Up, 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 gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. On the bottom, I got the manger. I got the whole goddamn thing going there, the wise men, the sheep. The only thing is, I have the baby, but I'm Jewish. I got him a nanny. It was just, oh yes. And I redressed Mary. She didn't look good. That stupid thing over her head, come on. I put her in a Chanel suit, Manolo Blahniks, and a Louis Vuitton pocketbook. You're the mother of God, look it. It is just... Am I wrong? If she had looked like that, she would have gotten into the inn. Yes. The point is, it's about looks. Mary, she looked good, she would have done better. Mother Teresa, oh, don't give me, oh. Mother Teresa, if she had looked better, she'd be a saint by now. Was she a bow wow? Yes. Did she need electrolysis? Let's talk to each other here. Even lepers were throwing their fingers at her. Here, get away. Because it is all about looks. This is my message, Great Britain. This is my message. Looks count. Education, looks count. I have no sex appeal, and it has screwed me up for life. Peeping Toms look in my window, pull down the shade. You have no idea. My gynecologist examines me by telephone. It is just...
I started learning French really young at the age of 8 or something in primary school, and our French teacher, to help it sink in our brains, used to play little games with us. And one of the games was that we had to draw a name out of the hat, and that would be our French name for the rest of term, yeah? So I withdrew Marcel, and she taught me that if anyone ever asked the question, comment tu t'appelles, my response should be, je m'appelle Marcel, right? Now, I got all the way to degree level and 2 trips to Paris with that knowledge, and no one ever corrected me. And I went in on my first day of the lecture, and the professor goes, bonjour, comment tu t'appelles? I thought, well, this is going to be a very easy course. I went, bonjour, je m'appelle Marcel. He's like, no, comment tu t'appelles? And I went, je m'appelle Marcel. He's like, no, comment tu t'appelles? And I went, je m'appelle Marcel. He's like, no, comment tu t'appelles? I went, je m'appelle Marcel. He's like, no, comment tu t'appelles? I was like, je m'appelle Marcel. He's like, no, comment tu t'appelles? Je m'appelle Marcel. He's like, no, comment tu t'appelles? Je m'appelle Marcel. He's like, no, comment tu t'appelles? And I went, what is wrong with you? You said you were French. I went, je m'appelle Marcel. Marcel. He's like, no, comment tu t'appelles, what is your name? I was like, je m'appelle Marcel, my name is Stephen. So educated. And as part of our course, yeah, we had to do a year abroad. Hold on. Gap year. We did, Jimmy. We had to do a year abroad, right? So I moved to the south of France for a year, and I'm dating myself with this reference, I do know. But I thought it would be like a Hilary Duff film, right? Do you know where I'd like move to the south of France, get a job in a little boulangerie, fall in love, move into the guy's chateau, and never have to come and perform in Hammersmith? Do you know what I mean? And me and my friends all had a bit of a dream. Like my friend Kate, she's married to a guy now called Florent and lives in Nice. That was my dream, bitch. My friend Sam got with a guy while we were there, and his name was Nicolas. And I even got with a guy while we were there for one term, and his name was Kevin. It wasn't even Kevin. I went all the way to the south of France and found the only guy from Stockport. Just called me Sally Webster. And the thing I hated the most about doing that year abroad was I don't like flying. Howie, give me a cheer if you like flying. Give me a cheer if you don't like it. Yeah, all the ones sat in the sky. I really hate it, yeah, because everyone's like it's the safest form of transport, but that's not true, is it? Because speak to someone that's been in a crash. And that is valid. That is really valid. And I've had to find my way of getting round it. You need hints, tricks, don't you? So my therapist said you just need to sit on the plane doing this. I get thrown off the plane if I do that, Julie. And the way I've been trying to get round it, hear me out, you're going to think I'm mad, right? Do you know sometimes when you look at someone and you think, like Aaron, I look at you and I go, you would never die in a plane crash. You've got that kind of face, you know, it's like, you're not going to go that way. Whereas some people, they've got that face where it's like, have you already been in one? And I flew to Dublin this year, and it was the best flight I'd ever had, right? Because I found someone like you, Aaron. I found someone. Peter Barlow from Coronation Street was on the flight, and I thought, Peter Barlow's not going to die in a Ryanair flight. He's already been through too much.